Hello, so today we'll be presenting our paper on handwritten character recognition using deep LSTM approach. Hello, I'm Shambhavi.
Hello, this is Trishala.
Hello everyone, this is Sujana. So, the abstract. Today, without technology, life would not be the same because it has become a necessary component of our daily lives. Image recognition is one application of this cutting edge technology that has changed the way we see the world. One of the easiest way to understand and rapidly growing areas of technologies is the use of machine learning for image identification. Several techniques can be used for image character recognition. This article introduces a novel deep LSTM approach to increase the accuracy of handwritten character recognition. The process entails the following steps: CNN feature extraction, a series of LSTM layers, and a connectionist temporal classification CTC decoder. The multiple long short term memory form of a RNN aids in preserving character dependencies. The experimental data shows that the suggested system performs better than the current state of the art approaches. Moving on to the next slide. Introduction. Human reading simulation on digital computers has become an important research area. The main advantages of such attempts are not only the challenges of simulating human reading habits, but also their effective application, which requires converting both handwritten and printed characters on the page into a form understandable by computers. Banks, post offices, libraries, and publishers have many practical and commercial application for automatic character recognition of handwritten and printed information or documents such as envelopes, checks, applications in various fields and other manuscripts. One of the methods of converting computer generated handwritten or printed documents into an editable format is character recognition. Character recognition has two forms: online form and the offline form. The handwritten and machine printed character recognition are two other areas of offline character recognition. The languages are written in 11 scripts. Languages such as Sanskrit, Hindi, Nepali, Marathi, and Sindhi are all written using the oldest script, the Devanagari script. Moving on to the next slide. Computers can recognize online handwriting faster than the offline handwriting, beginning with knowledge acquisition, pre-processing, feature extraction, classification, and prototyping are possible methods for offline handwriting recognition. The process of feeding of an image into a neural network and obtaining label for that image is called image recognition. Here is a figure showing the image, which is image from IAM dataset converted to digital text. Moving on to the next slide. Related works. Most of the existing research focuses on the histogram of orientation gradient HOG detection algorithm. In the paper, in the fifth paper, handwritten Marathi characters are recognized using the HOG feature, and in the sixth paper, HOG is used for human recognition. In the seventh article, the CAPTCHA recognition of Chinese characters is done using a CNN, and in the eighth paper presents research on classification and recognition of objects and various handwritten characters using general SNN models. Moving on to the next slide. The model designed in the paper 10 aims to give users the opportunity to improve recognition accuracy without resorting to normalization techniques. A graph consists of set of edges that indicate which vertices are connected. The curves that form the letters are at the vertices. The 11th paper shows invariant object recognition by rats using shape processing, and the 12th paper proposes in this work a new scene text recognition method that recognizes words without letter segmentation. Moving on to the next slide. This system has three main advantages. The first one is converting each word image to a sequential signal. The second one is a recently popular handwriting recognition method, namely RNN, recurrent neural networks with LSTM, long short-term memory is widely used. The third one is combining many RNNs create an accurate recognition system that can recognize even heavily modified scene text without character segmentation. The 13th paper proposes a simple and lightweight CNN model for identifying Bangla handwriting, which contains 50 basic Bangla characters. Now my teammate Trishala will continue.
Coming to the proposed architecture, our proposed work had a deep LSTM form of system with a neural network base. Now, coming to the basic idea of why this LSTM is used, LSTM is a variety of recurrent neural networks that are capable of learning long-term dependencies, especially in sequence prediction problems. Since in our project, the system first transforms each word picture into a sequential signal, LSTM is best suited. Now, coming to the proposed architecture, it consists of the following steps, is beginning with future extraction by CNN and by followed by a application of LSTM layers and then the CTC layers to decode. The neural network may also be formally viewed as a function which is used in a system through the form of an equation which converts a sequence of characters into an image size of m cross n. As we can see that in our system, the text is identified at character level, and it is also possible to recognize words or text that are not a part of the training data. So, beginning with the input image is entered into the CNN layers to obtain the futures. This is where the future extraction takes place, and then it propagates through the RNN layers with the significant information along the sequence, which have 256 futures, and with each time step in a future sequence. So the matrix which CTC utilizes to decode into final text is only sent to it during the inference. Coming to the pre-processing of the input image, the input is a grayscale image with a resolution of 128 cross 32. We resize the collection's image until they are 128 pixels wide or 32 pixels height because the images originally aren't actually of this size. So that the image is then duplicated into a target image, which is 128 cross 32, and we convert it to a white image. In order to simplify the task for the neural network, we equalize the image grayscale levels. So the data augmentation can be easily accomplished. The figure here depicts the scaling of an image for fitting into a required size of 256 cross 32 matrix. Now coming to the architecture, first an input image from an input data set is pre-processed as we have seen earlier, and then it is fed into the CNN layers. So these layers are basically trained to extract the futures from images, and then after the future extraction, these are propagated through a series of multiple LSTM layers, and then the output of this whole RNN network is fed into the CTC, where the CTC computes its lots, and then the CTC decodes the character. Now, coming to what generally happens in this CNN, there are three procedures that happens in the CNN layers. The input is applied to the filter kernel, that is 55 bytes in size for the first two layers and 32 bytes for the final three layers during the CNN process. And then a nonlinear ReLU function is used. After summarizing the picture regions, a pooling layer outputs a condensed version of the input. Each layer's height is then reduced by 2, while the future maps, that is the channels, are being produced to produce an output future map, which is in the size of 32 cross 256. Now, this figure depicts an 32-word sequence, that is the CNN layer's output. When in this picture depicted, when we take the first part, these are the layers of CNN generating nearly 256 futures. When coming to the second part, it is a handwritten image input. Coming to the third part, it is a correlation future plot which strongly correlates with the future E. Now, some futures, which is previously demonstrated, show a strong correlation with some high values of properties of input image. The futures include those that have a high correlation with alphabetical characters, namely E, or the character which duplicates such as PP, or a looply character, namely EDL, or normally found in the handwritten characters. Now, my teammate Shambhavi will continue.
So now we'll come to the part where LSTM comes in the role. So the RNN output that we get is mapped using a 32 cross 80 dimensional matrix, and we have 80 entries for each 32 time steps. So here we have calculated the probability of each character in the word called. So the matching happens in this sequence, like exclamation mark, then quotes, then hashtag, and then all the symbols followed by numbers. And then we have the alphabets. So as we can see is, we have the likelihood of characters of called like CALLED. The E is a bit misaligned, but because CTC is segmentation free, so we doesn't concern about the absolute position. Next slide. Another thing we have used is CTC, connection is temporal classification. So it determines the loss, which is designed for the task where we need alignment between sequence, but where that alignment is difficult. So the CTC will receive matrix during inference, and then it will use it to decode the test, and the text should not exceed like 32 characters. So we'll give both the loss and the ground truth text. Next slide. Next we have is our experimental results. So we tested our model, writing the training, the word training on a paper, and fed it into our system. So we can see that the probability that it has recognized is 0.99%, which is quite high. So the RNN layer, it determines the yield of neurons whose loads are linked to nearby areas. Also, the RNN can disseminate crucial information due to its design. So it make use of the long short-term memory so that it can store more characters rather than discarding it after recognition. Next slide. So here we have compared our model. We have checked the training accuracy and the validation accuracy, and we depict that the proposed model gives higher accuracy when compared to the existing system. Next slide. So here is the table of the results. So the our proposed architecture gives 99.09% of accuracy for the handwritten text. Also, since printed texts are easier to recognize and train, it will give like 100% accuracy for it. Next slide. So coming to the last part, that is conclusion and future direction. So with 99% and 100% accuracy, the deep LSTM algorithm produces printed text as the output. So this system is mainly to improve the recognition accuracy by adding some more layer of CNN, and by replacing the single LSTM with a series of LSTM. We can improve its accuracy furthermore, like using a 2D LSTM. So it uses a detector, namely beam search and form of token passing, to compel the output in form of word dictionary. Also, if recognized word is not contained in the dictionary, we will search for the most similar one. So yeah, that's it for our paper. Thank you so much.